This is an ad. See how I can skip it at the bottom? This is an ad I was falling asleep to. Let's hear what it has to say.
60 school children.
It's 90 plus seconds.
Superheroes soon arrived to help rescue survivors. Public opinion quickly turned against superhumans. One of the first casualties was the Fantastic Four's Human Torch, Johnny Storm.
I remind you, I was falling asleep to this.
Mob outside of a nightclub, leaving him in a coma. Soon, the government revived the idea of the Superhuman Registration Act, and the superhero community was split into two camps. Some, like Tony Stark, supported registration, while he fought against the legislation before.
See, there's a skip button at the bottom of the screen. This is a fucking ad!
According to him, becoming public employees made perfect sense.
Since when do ads
a little easier.
become comics?
Others felt differently. When S.H.I.E.L.D. director Maria Hill ordered Steve Rogers, alias Captain America, to lead the Avengers in capturing unregistered heroes, he refused, saying, "You're asking me to arrest people who risk their lives for this country every day of the week." When Hill's hit squad turned on Cap, he jumped from the helicarrier onto a nearby plane. Then he took the pilot out for a burger and fries, because he's Captain Frickin' America. But as the Registration Act moved towards ratification, Iron Man stepped forward to champion it, with the help of Reed Richards and Henry
What the
Pym.
fuck are they advertising?
Yellow Jacket at the time. And to prove his support, Tony Stark held a press conference where he revealed
Sponsored?
his identity as Iron Man to the world.
Skip it. 90 plus seconds. Imagine
As
that.
the act moved towards becoming law, Tony Stark worked to recruit more heroes to his side. Meanwhile, Reed Richards began to work on a mysterious government project known only as Project 42.
This is stuff you hear while you're falling into a dream or
started to become strained after Tony pressured him to
becoming tired
his identity. Concerned about the threat to his
in a
life,
hypnotic
he
state.
to his wife Mary Jane and Aunt May for advice. May advised him to reveal his identity, saying, "Some things are worth the risk, Peter. You're one of them." And so, despite his concerns, Spider-Man unmasked himself to the world. This revelation...
Wow, how long is this gonna go for? Like, can you imagine leaving YouTube running and shit like this just playing for hours?
Photos of himself as Spider-Man. And Peter's fears were justified, as one of his greatest enemies, Wilson Fisk, the crime boss called the Kingpin, secretly hired an assassin to kill Peter's family. When the law was ratified, the government
Almost sounds like some MKB Ultra shit, just using YouTube and people who are tired.
However, they were rescued by Cap's team of secret Avengers, who'd set up a secret base in an underground bunker that had belonged to former S.H.I.E.L.D. director Nick Fury.
Yeah, I'm drunk and high, but still, that doesn't matter.
New secret identities, handsome, aggressive mustaches, while they continued to help people in need. But not every superhero chose a side, as Tony Stark was unable to convince the X-Men.
This is an ad, people.
The X-Men believed hunting down rebel heroes would go against everything they stood for. And when Tony tried to convince the mutant Emma Frost to back the bill by mentioning the loss of life in Stamford, she simply asked, "Where were the Avengers when Genosha died, Iron Man?" She was referring to the mutant nation that was destroyed by anti-mutant sentinel robots, an attack that killed 16 million mutants in one day. However, the desire to protect mutants from similar attacks led some X-Men to break their neutrality.
How long will this go for?
Law enforcement officer Lucas
It's 4 minutes in, and I came out of it I came into this as a daze, if I remember correctly. I was, kind of high and drunk and falling asleep when this began.
Richard supported it. His wife Sue, the Invisible Woman, was against it. Ben Grimm, the ever-loving blue-eyed thing, remained on the fence. When a protest broke out on Yancey Street, where Ben Grimm...
We're at a 4-minute
protesters that he didn't support
and 45-second commercial plus.
But when those protesters attacked a government...
I can skip it, but
one of Ben's friends
this
Ben turned on
being played as you're falling asleep. It's like it knows when you're falling asleep and it chooses to play this.
Where he joined the French super team.
That's what I'm getting at.
Dave Petty. One of the most surprising anti-registration heroes turned out to be Robbie Baldwin, better known as Speedball, the sole surviving member of the New Warriors. While his ability to absorb kinetic energy allowed him to survive Nitro's explosion, Speedball soon found himself arrested for
We're going to record this for at least 30 minutes,
Jennifer Walters,
unless it
ex-Avenger
stops.
She-Hulk, managed to get him community service on the condition that he register, but Speedball refused. We soon learned what Reed had been working on when Speedball and other unregistered superhumans were transferred to a prison located in the other dimensional negative zone. Its code name. Prison 42.
Get comfortable, I guess. Oh, is it over?
Tensions between the two sides
No.
finally erupted into violence when Cap's team arrived to help stop a refinery fire, only to be ambushed by Iron Man's team. Cap agreed to a truce and then used a shield electron scrambler to disable Tony's armor. The two sides brawled until a blast of lightning revealed a new combatant, Thor, the god of thunder. However, this Thor was far more brutal than his usual self. And when giant man Bill Foster fought back, Thor killed him. Sue Richards' force field stopped Thor before he could kill anyone else and allowed Cap's team to escape. Reed Richards used a code word to shut Thor down, revealing that
This is paid advertising on YouTube. Sponsored.
Sue stormed off, refusing to speak to her husband. The rest of Tony's teammates were left in shock, with Spidey wondering if they'd picked the wrong side, saying, "I thought you knew what you were doing, Tony. I thought we were doing this so no one else got hurt." Bill Foster's death had a huge impact on both sides of the war. On Cap's side, several team members, including Stature, Nighthawk, and Cable, left the team, saying they joined up to fight villains, not cops and other superheroes. But they also gained some new members, as after Johnny woke up from his coma, he and Sue left the Fantastic Four to join Cap's team. Bill Foster's death also caused some pro-registration forces.
7 fucking minutes?
To the ranks, he assembled a new team of former supervillains.
Are we fucking going on like a binge watch episode of fucking Game of Thrones or some shit?
Carter, codenamed Agent 13, was caught in the middle, as she was also tasked with hunting down the secret Avengers while secretly in a relationship with their leader, Captain America. She was unaware that her therapist was actually the criminal Dr. Faustus in disguise. He used that position to secretly manipulate Sharon's feelings, sowing the seeds for her to betray S.H.I.E.L.D. for Cap's longtime foe, the Red Skull. As the war raged on, many of the combatants found themselves questioning their chosen side. Spider-Man visited the Negative Zone prison, where he found captured heroes begging to be released. He was horrified to learn that this wasn't just a short-term solution.
Man, do I have to set my phone up on like a stand or something to record this bullshit?
Only to be tackled by Tony. Peter argued that Tony was in over his head, so Tony maintained that all of this was just a temporary measure. When the agents arrived, Peter fled into the night. Maria Hill sent the Thunderbolts after him, and soon Peter was being chased through the
Motherfucker.
supervillains on Iron Man's side, Jester and Jack-O-Lantern. Just as they had a wounded Peter cornered, they were suddenly shot by a mysterious figure who turned out to be the Punisher. The Punisher revealed that he'd been secretly helping Cap's team.
This is a fucking ad on TV. Modern TV. The kids are watching this, falling asleep to it.
Shoot first and never bother asking questions because they're criminals' philosophy. He reluctantly accepted the vigilante.
I don't know if the content is bad or good. I haven't been observing it. I'm just observing the fact that I'm trying to record a commercial that is basically an entire timeline of a fucking comic book.
Well, Judas. Although we should add that this Daredevil wasn't Matt Murdock. This Daredevil was actually Danny Rand, who Matt hired to swap his uniform for the red suit and pretend to be Daredevil, while Matt was behind bars.
I'm actually gonna go smoke a cigarette right now.
The stress
Because
of the war continued to weigh
I'll
on
come
Tom,
back and
who started to show some
we'll
signs
see
of
what we
instability.
got, you
During a
know?
visit to the White House, Iron Man attacked Wakanda's king T'Challa
It's
and played a role
crazy
in
bullshit
destroying
going on
plans
right
of
now.
Black Panther and Storm when they wouldn't support registration. Soon, Tony, who was a recovering alcoholic, was ready to start drinking again. But before he could take a sip, he was confronted by a furious Sue Richards, who blamed him for the collapse of her marriage. After Stark punched a hole through a glass wall, he poured out the bottle and sat alone in his apartment, praying. Despite Iron Man's breakdown, the pro-registration side continued to grow as S.H.I.E.L.D. began training superheroes to join teams they established in every state in what they called their 50-state initiative. Meanwhile, Cap sent the Punisher to infiltrate the Baxter Building in search of more information on Prison 42. Realizing they'd need more bodies to attack such a protected position, Steve sent Sue Richards to try and convince the Atlantean prince Namor the Submariner to join their side. While planning a mission to free the captives from Prison 42, Cap was approached by two supervillains, Goldbug and the Plunderer, who wanted to join up. They were immediately gunned down by the Punisher, who refused to work with criminals. Cap responded by beating up the Punisher, but the vigilante refused to fight back out of respect for Cap. Ultimately, Steve Rogers threw the Punisher out of the base. But Cap's team went ahead with the mission and infiltrated Prison 42, only to find themselves face to face with Iron Man's team. The two teams squared off against each other in Prison 42, where Iron Man revealed to Captain America that one of Tony's defectors, Tigra, had been a mole. But Steve upstaged Tony by revealing that Yellow Jacket had been replaced by the shapeshifter Hulkling. Oh, and since he could mimic Pym's vocal patterns, he also released all of the prisoners. The two teams attacked each other. S.H.I.E.L.D. was quick to seal all portals to the prison, but Cloak used his teleportation abilities to transport everyone into Manhattan, where the battle continued. The Thunderbolts attacked Captain America and captured him, only to be stopped by the sudden arrival of Namor and his Atlantean army. But just as it seemed Cap had the upper hand, Iron Man's initiative team arrived with Reed's Thor clone, who received a mighty punch from Hercules. Ben Grimm returned to help protect civilians, bearing witness to Reed taking a shot from Taskmaster in order to save Sue, who then smashed Taskmaster with a force field. Hercules battled the Thor clone, saying, "I knew Thor. Thor was a friend of mine, and thou art no Thor," while destroying the clone with its own hammer. Meanwhile, Steve had managed to incapacitate Tony, who told his former ally to finish it. But just as he was about to deliver a final blow, Steve was tackled by a group of emergency workers. They forced Cap to realize the damage he and his allies were doing. He was brought to tears, saying, "We're not fighting for the people anymore. We're just fighting." He unmasked himself, saying they weren't arresting Captain America, but Steve Rogers. And with that, he ordered his side to stand down. After heroes from both sides worked to clean up the city, the 50-state initiative moved forward as planned. Tony Stark was made director of S.H.I.E.L.D., saying that he couldn't let anyone else guard his friends' secret identities. While the war was over, the consequences of it would shake the Marvel Universe for years to come. When Spider-Man returned to his loved ones after battle, they were targeted by the Kingpin's assassin, who shot Aunt May. Peter brutally beat down Kingpin in revenge as May fell into a coma. Peter's desire to cure Aunt May would lead him to strike a deal with the demonic Mephisto, who granted him his wishes in exchange for erasing Peter's marriage to Mary Jane, something that would cause Spider-Man great suffering and advance the demon's long-range plans for the Wall Crawler. Reed and Sue Richards decided to reconcile and left the Fantastic Four to repair their marriage. They brought in Black Panther and Storm to take their place on the team and turned part of the Baxter Building into a Wakandan embassy, as the original had been destroyed during the war's final battle. The Commission on Superhuman Affairs assembled a new Thunderbolts team to capture unregistered heroes. One of the new members was the former Speedball, who decided to sign the Registration Act. He took on the name Penance and donned armor with one spike for each civilian who died in the Stanford incident. Spikes that constantly injured him, triggering his kinetic powers. And as director of S.H.I.E.L.D., Tony organized a new Avengers team, led by Carol Danvers in her capacity as Miss Marvel, which would be known as the Mighty Avengers. Cap's underground heroes were offered amnesty if they registered, and many took up the offer, becoming members of the initiative. However, others remained underground, including Luke Cage's fugitive New Avengers. But the most shocking outcome occurred when Captain America was brought to his arraignment hearing. In the middle of the crowd of protesters, reporters, and law enforcement, Steve was shot and killed by Sharon Carter, who was still brainwashed by Dr. Faustus. Afterwards, Tony confessed to Steve's corpse that while he believed he was right in being pro-registration, it wasn't worth the cost of losing his friend. Steve Rogers was buried with full honors in Arlington National Cemetery. However, that body was only a replica. 3 days later, Tony and a few friends, including Namor, gave Steve's real body a burial in the Arctic, giving him the solitude and peace he'd experienced while being frozen in the ice after World War II. But that left one big question. Who would carry Cap's shield and the title of Captain America? Tony revealed that Cap's final wish was for Bucky Barnes, Cap's former sidekick and brainwashed Soviet assassin, the Winter Soldier, to become Captain America. Bucky agreed, on the condition that Tony used S.H.I.E.L.D.'s technology to ensure he couldn't be mind-controlled again. Tony obliged and created a new cap suit for Bucky, who officially became a brand new and very shiny Captain America. Afterwards, it was revealed that Cap wasn't actually killed, but flung out of time. He was eventually brought back by the Red Skull, who intended to place his evil mind in Cap's perfect specimen of a body. However, Cap's spirit was too strong, and the Skull was driven out of his mind, leaving Cap back in his own body and among the living again. Much later, Tony and Cap mended fences and resumed their deep friendship. In the MCU, the Civil War played out very differently. To begin with, in Marvel Studios' Captain America Civil War, the conflict wasn't started by an American Superhuman Registration Act. Instead, the Sokovia Accords was a worldwide agreement by 117 countries to regulate enhanced individuals, in response to the destruction that had followed Avengers missions in New York and the Eastern European nation of Sokovia, and to a recent Avengers mission in Lagos, Nigeria, where Wanda Maximoff accidentally destroyed part of an office building, killing 11 aid workers from the neighboring country of Wakanda. The Avengers were presented with the Accords by Secretary of State Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, who explained that under the Accords, the Avengers would only be able to respond to emergencies when approved by the United Nations.
In the past 4 years, you've operated with unlimited power and no supervision. That's an arrangement the governments of the world can no longer tolerate.
He gave the members a choice, either sign the Accords or retire. While Captain America was skeptical, Tony supported it.
We need to be put in check, whatever form that takes on being.
Partially because he had been approached by the mother of a young man who had been volunteering in Sokovia and was killed during the Avengers battle with Ultron. Meanwhile, Cap's former partner and best friend Bucky Barnes was framed for murder and hunted down by the Joint Terrorism Task Force. Cap went to help him, violating the Sokovia Accords. Cap and the Falcon helped Bucky escape, becoming fugitives in the process. When they discovered that this was all a plan by former Sokovian intelligence officer Helmut Zemo to gain access to a group of Soviet super soldiers in suspended animation, Cap recruited a group of heroes to take them down, including Hawkeye, Wanda Maximoff, and Ant-Man.
Wow, this is awesome. Captain America. I know you too. You're great.
But when Cap's team tried to leave a German airport, they were confronted by Iron Man's team, War Machine, Black Widow, The Vision, Black Panther, and Spider-Man. This led to a giant battle in more ways than one. While Cap and Bucky escaped, The Vision accidentally shot down War Machine.
I came inside and started cooking tacos. This ad is still fucking playing. I don't even know, what is it at?
Former teammates in captivity, Tony had a change of heart. track down
20 minutes? Oh my fucking god.
help them stop Zemo from whatever he was working toward. That's when Zemo revealed his true plan to turn Iron Man and Cap against each other by revealing that Bucky had murdered Tony's parents.
I'm making tacos in the kitchen.
I
This is unbelievable.
This led to a battle between all three that severed Bucky's mechanical arm and left Cap on the verge of killing Tony with his shield. But Cap decided to walk away, leaving his shield with Tony. Cap rescued his teammates from the raft, and they went on the run. It would take Thanos snapping half the population of the universe from existence to reunite Cap and Iron Man in Marvel Studios' Avengers Endgame. And that is our abridged summary of Civil War. Want to learn more? Sign up for Marvel Unlimited, where you can read the whole thing. Or check out the Marvel Premiere Collection of Civil War, on sale now at your favorite comic and bookstores. If you're curious, here's the full list of comics referenced in this video. And you can watch Marvel Studios' The Avengers, Avengers Age of Ultron, Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame on Disney+. This has been Marvel Recap Civil War.
If this isn't a fucking, like, explanation of mind control, then I don't know what is. Oh, it finally ended. Holy shit. Dude, now we're back to, like, regular commercials. Holy shit. Like, right when I get done making my fucking tacos. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to skip. Like, here's the remote. I'm not going to skip the ad or nothing. Look at this shit.
With the shortage of brand new aircraft delivery across the world, Emirates decided to go it alone and refurbish over 200 of our existing planes at our own engineering facility. This makes it the largest retrofit program on the planet. For our customers, it means even greater consistency
On the planet. Best product. There's a lot of Iranian looking. Okay, now we're into a YouTube video. Sorry. Alright, I'm gonna stop it here. So, yep, here we go. Obviously, this is a YouTube video here. See, I'll pause it. See, this is Y files, and it just began. So, yeah. Check that shit out. Fucking crazy, dude. That was an ad. That's what they play while you're falling asleep to YouTube. Just fucking crazy. I hope someone can find a meaning in this. Explain to me what the fuck, why they would play an ad that long. It was 20 minutes long of an Avengers-like style comic book in your moment of falling asleep. So, yeah. Fucking crazy. Yeah, I just hit play. I hit pause. I hit play. I hit pause. See? This is not bullshit. Play.
That was your slowest?
Fast forward. Fast forward. Yeah, see? Fast forward to like a pivotal moment. Here we go.
And it's different. The marvelous thing about
See,
curiosity is that everybody has their own.
it says that that moment is the little, the bumps like here, right here. Like, oh, let's go to that one. Apparently, that's what people keep, going back on to watch in a YouTube video, like, because it's like a highly viewed section.
How much of a setback was it when Congress pulled the funding for the Texas Collider back in the 90s?